So the purpose of this video is all about question annotation. The idea is that you pause, have a go at annotating the question yourself, picking out the key parts of the question and just identifying what the question wants you to do. And then when you've done that, press play and watch what I have done and just double check your question annotation. So we're going to have a go at a few clear and organised summary ones first of all, and then we're going to plan them together. So have a go please at this first question, pause it now and annotate yourself. Then press play when you're ready to go. So what I would do when I first spot this question is I'd look straight away for what topic is it. And it says here crime. So I'm going to highlight crime. You also want to know the time period. Since 1900. Now you do learn your time periods in specific blocks. So as I've said before, right at the start, put them at the top: medieval 1250 to 1500, early modern 1500 to 1750, industrial 1750 to 1900, and then 20th century is 1900 plus. If you've got that at the top, it's dead easy for you to then be able to see the time period in the question, look up at the top, right, okay, I know that that means 20th century. It's asking me about 20th century crime. So at that moment, your brain's going, oh my God, what do I know about 20th century crime? Very quickly, I know car crime, drug crime, race crime, cyber crime. Right, brilliant. So I've got my knowledge down and now I'm ready to plan. So if you turn over, you'll see the plans on the next page. It's the exact same question. Pause here and have a go at the plan for yourself. You need 3 point, develop, analyse paragraphs. Okay, so we identified that there was 4 different crimes that we know about. You want to write about the ones that you have the most detail on. So I'm going to put my point as car, my development. I know that not wearing a seatbelt is a crime. Speeding, car theft. So what you want to do in the development is describe the crime that you have identified. And this will be the difference between 3 and 6 marks. If you include the analysis, it puts you straight away into that 3 to 6 mark bracket. The more detail you add in, the more marks they will give you. Analysis, this is about why does this become a crime in this time period. So I'm just going to put invention of cars. And I know that if I put my linking sentences in between each of those points, point, develop, analyse, that will be 6 marks. Next one, cybercrime. So I've got things like hacking, online fraud, illegal downloads. My analysis, why does that happen? Invention of computers, launch of the internet in the 1980s. Now if I put my linking sentences between that one, make it into another paragraph, that is actually 9 marks. Now we always teach you to do 3 paragraphs. Although you only need 2 for the current mark scheme for 9, at some point it may be that 3 is needed for the mark scheme in the next year, and you don't want to be the person who's done 2 when it's the year of the mark scheme where they've decided that you need 3 developed points for 9 marks. So we'll go for race crime, and this is crimes against people due to their race. Let's get a specific example in there. So for example, you could talk about the murder of Stephen Lawrence. And again, the analysis. Why is this crime occurring? Post-war migration creates tension. Now, all of the history staff have said, although this is a virtual session, if you do want to write out any of these paragraphs or any full questions, you can email them over, send them on Teams, and we are more than happy to give you feedback and mark them for you. Let's have a go at the next one. So again, I want you to pause, highlight, and annotate. Okay, so just as you did with the other one, you need to highlight the topic. Again, it says crime. Now you'll notice, it's interesting, this one says analyses crime. This one says the nature of crime. Nothing different at all. They're just trying to throw you off. You need to pick out crime. Let's look for the time period again. It says medieval period, 1250 to 1500. Again, can you notice the difference between the two? These are real exam questions from real exam papers. This one says since 1900. This one gives you the name of the time period. Medieval period, 1250 to 1500. So again, very quickly, what do I know about crime in this time period? Homicide, it's high. Petty theft is common. Treason made a crime. So again, what I would like you to do is turn over to the next page, plan, pause, plan, and then come back to check your answers. So we're going to plan the answer to the crime and punishment, the crime summary in the medieval period. So we've got high homicide rate as your point. Development, you need to remember it's 18.2%. You can also include definition, so it's murder. What you want to include in the analysis here is why is the homicide rate so high? And that's due to poor medical care and people working closely together with tools. Another point that you could make is petty theft, most common crime, 80% of all crime, and it is stealing things under 12D. Why is this the most common crime? Needs to be the focus of your analysis, and that's because people were reliant on the harvest. During poor harvests, people could be desperate. Another point, treason is the most serious crime, and treason is the crime of plotting or actually killing the king. And this is clearly defined for the first time in 1351. The reason why treason's clearly defined in 1351 is what you want in your analysis. And treason is clearly defined in 1351 because the king does not have secure control of his country. He needs to make the most serious crime threatening his rule. So again, we're then going to move back to our last question. Pause the video and annotate. So exactly the same as before, you want to pick out the topic. This time it says crime and criminals. Can you see how every time they've used a different phrase, but it's always been crime? and the period 1500 to 1750. Now, to make sure you don't get it wrong, make sure you go back up to check your time periods that you've written at the top of your exam, and that'll tell you that that's the early modern period. So what do I know about crime in the early modern period? This is a great one if you get this one. Lots and lots of new crimes: smuggling, highway robbery. 2 new crimes to the time period. We've also got 2 crimes that increase: witchcraft and moral crimes. So at this point, pause the video here, turn over, and have a go at planning your answer. So you need your 3-point development analysis. Let's go with highway robbery. So one new crime that emerges during the early modern period is highway robbery. Let's describe highway robbery. So it's thieves on horseback holding carriages at gunpoint to steal money and jewellery. What you want for your analysis is, why does highway robbery emerge at this time? A couple of reasons. One, due to the invention of the flintlock pistol. This allows thieves to prepare their gun and wait. And also, you've got an increase in road travel, no banks, so people carry their money with them. Another point, smuggling. Remember, in the development, you should describe what smuggling is. So it's bringing goods into the country, avoiding ports. To avoid customs officials. You could even include some of the goods that were smuggled, such as rum, brandy, silk, tea. Why does smuggling emerge in this period? The government introduces an import tax. And that means that any goods that are brought into the country, you have to pay an import tax on them, which makes the goods more expensive. People don't want to pay the tax. And the thing is, with smuggling, lots and lots of people support it, because they're quite happy to pay lower prices from a smuggler than they would be from the shops who have paid the import tax. Final one we'll do. Let's do moral crimes. These are new crimes, such as the banning of Christmas and dancing. Don't mix them up with the moral crimes from the medieval period, like shaving your beard on a Sunday. These are the ones linked to the Puritans. So analysis, why do these become crimes? So after the English Civil War, Oliver Cromwell takes power, and he is a Puritan. And he introduces Puritan laws such as banning dancing. The next question that we'll look at is the question 3, which is the explain your answer questions. Now, in the exam, you might find that you don't have time to do a plan as developed as this. So you could just put highway robbery, horseback thieves, flintlock pistol, just as you're writing, to give yourself that reminder of what you want to include in each of your paragraphs.